Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. Dan Quinn just proved Commanders fans were right about Luke McCaffrey. And honestly, this feels like one of those "I told you so" moments that fans live for. You could sense it bubbling up over the last few weeks. That quiet confidence from Washington's supporters who saw something special in McCaffrey before the rest of the league did. It's not just about stats. It's about the energy, the spark, the way he's elevated this offense at a time when the Commanders looked like they might stumble. The injuries were piling up. The big names like Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown were sidelined, and everyone outside D.C. was wondering if this team had the depth to keep their momentum alive. But inside that locker room, there was one player quietly preparing for his moment. And when it came, Luke McCaffrey did not blink. It's crazy to think how fast this turnaround has happened. Just a few months ago, McCaffrey was viewed as a developmental project, the former Rice standout who converted from quarterback to receiver, someone with athletic upside but a lot to prove. The Commanders' offseason moves didn't exactly make it easy for him either. They traded for Deebo Samuel Sr., a proven star. They drafted Jalen Lane. On paper, it looked like McCaffrey was buried in the depth chart, maybe even fighting for a roster spot. But here's the thing about players with that McCaffrey DNA. They don't fade when the odds are stacked against them. They fight, they adapt, and they make believers out of everyone. And that's exactly what Luke McCaffrey has done. When the Commanders desperately needed someone to step up in the passing game, when Jaden Daniels needed a reliable target he could trust, it wasn't a veteran who answered the call. It was McCaffrey. Against the Raiders, he found the end zone. Against the Falcons, he did it again. And when Washington faced the Chargers, a tough road matchup where Daniels was under pressure to deliver, he turned to McCaffrey for that big play downfield. Boom. Connection. Confidence. Chemistry. You could feel it. This wasn't a fluke. This was something building. Dan Quinn, a coach known for his fiery defensive mindset and his focus on discipline and grit, couldn't help but light up when talking about McCaffrey after that Chargers game. He's seen the transformation firsthand. The way McCaffrey has refined his route running, sharpened his understanding of defensive coverages, and turned raw athleticism into polished production. But what Quinn emphasized most wasn't just the technique. It was the fire. There's one thing that separates him, Quinn said. He has, and he can feel it, this competitive spirit. That's the kind of statement that tells you a player isn't just filling a role. He's forcing his way into the team's identity. And that's what Commanders fans have been seeing all along. When they watched McCaffrey in training camp or during those limited preseason snaps, they didn't just see a receiver trying to survive. They saw a guy attacking every rep like it was a playoff down. That edge, that hunger, is contagious. It's what coaches love, it's what teammates rally around, and it's what fans can instantly connect to. McCaffrey doesn't just catch passes. He plays like every snap could be his last, and that energy has injected life into Washington's offense. Let's talk about how he's doing it. McCaffrey's route running has improved dramatically. Coming from a quarterback background, he already had the mental side, the ability to read defenses, anticipate coverages, and find soft spots. But early on, that sometimes worked against him. As Quinn noted, he was almost seeing too much. He was thinking like a quarterback, not yet feeling like a receiver. But something clicked this year. He's learned to trust his instincts as a wideout. His cuts are sharper, his releases are cleaner, and he's using leverage to create separation. He's not just catching the easy stuff. He's winning contested balls, extending plays after contact, and making defenders miss. You watch his tape, and it's like he's growing more confident with each game. And then there's the special teams impact. McCaffrey isn't just making noise as a receiver. He's become one of the league's most dynamic kick returners. That versatility makes him invaluable. The Commanders have always prided themselves on field position battles, and having a player who can flip the field in an instant gives them another layer of advantage. It's the kind of all-around contribution that reminds you of players like Deebo Samuel or even Christian McCaffrey. And no, it's not just about the last name. It's about that shared competitive DNA, that drive to make an impact anywhere the team needs it. Now, when you look at Washington's offense as a whole, it's easy to point to the league-leading rushing attack or Cliff Kingsbury's creative play calling as the foundation for success. Those things matter. But you can't ignore the McCaffrey effect. His emergence has opened up the playbook. Defenses now have to respect another threat on the outside, which gives Daniels more options and creates more space for the run game. It's the kind of ripple effect that can quietly change the entire complexion of an offense. Dan Quinn deserves credit too. This is a coach who understands player development at a deep level. He's been around stars and late bloomers alike, from his days in Seattle with the Legion of Boom to his time in Dallas developing defensive standouts. When Quinn talks about a player's competitive spirit, that's not coach speak. It's recognition that McCaffrey has something rare, that intangible fire that separates role players from cornerstones. And when a head coach says he can feel that spirit, that's not something you bench when the veterans come back. That's something you build around. And that's exactly what fans are hoping Quinn will do. Because let's be honest, when McLaurin and Brown return, there will be some tough decisions to make. Brown, for all his talent, has been inconsistent and injury-prone. McLaurin is still the WR1, no question. But McCaffrey has earned his place. You can't put this kind of energy back on the shelf. Not when he's producing, not when he's connecting with the quarterback, and not when the team is winning with him in the lineup. The Commanders have to ride the hot hand. And right now, Luke McCaffrey is blazing. It's also worth appreciating just how quickly McCaffrey's development has accelerated. Through only 5 games, he's already on pace to shatter his numbers from last season. His chemistry with Daniels is becoming one of the more underrated storylines in the NFC. 2 young players, drafted in the same class, growing together, building a rhythm that could define Washington's future. Every successful franchise has that young duo that emerges at the right time. For the Commanders, it might just be Jaden and Luke. And man, what a narrative turnaround this has been for Washington. Remember how fans and analysts were talking about this team before the season? There was uncertainty everywhere. A new head coach in Quinn, a new system under Kingsbury, a rookie quarterback trying to learn on the fly, and a roster full of question marks. But week by week, they've started answering those questions. The defense looks tough and organized, the running game is elite, and now the receiving core is finding unexpected stars. It's the kind of balanced growth that turns a rebuilding year into a playoff push. When McCaffrey made that big touchdown catch against the Raiders, you could almost hear the collective sigh of validation from Commanders fans. The same fans who watched him develop quietly last season, who read the off-season rumors about him possibly being cut, who heard the national media dismiss him as just another depth guy. They knew better. They saw something. That work ethic, that versatility, that spark. And now, Dan Quinn has confirmed what they've been saying all along. Luke McCaffrey isn't just a roster filler. He's a player. A real one. So what happens next? Well, if you're the Commanders, you keep feeding him. You keep scheming ways to get the ball in his hands. Quick slants, jet sweeps, deep shots, whatever it takes. You let him build on this momentum and continue proving that this breakout isn't a fluke. Because make no mistake, every time he steps on the field, defenses have to adjust. That's impact. And that's the kind of difference maker every contender needs. This story isn't just about one player catching fire. It's about a culture shift. The Commanders are starting to look like a team that believes in its young talent, that develops from within, that rewards hard work and resilience. And Luke McCaffrey has become the embodiment of that philosophy. When the veterans went down, he didn't just step in. He showed what's possible when preparation meets opportunity. In the end, Dan Quinn didn't just prove Commanders fans right about Luke McCaffrey. He proved something even bigger, that this new era of Washington football is built on trust, belief, and relentless competitiveness. McCaffrey is living proof that if you stay ready, your moment will come. And when it does, you better make sure everyone remembers your name. Because now, the league knows it too. Luke McCaffrey has arrived. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. Hold on to your seats, folks, because the NFL rumor mill has just exploded. And if you're a Washington Commanders fan, you're going to want to hear this from start to finish. The whispers started quietly, just a few murmurs on social media, some insiders dropping hints that something huge was brewing. But now it seems the story is real. Chase Young. Yes, the same Chase Young who left Washington with so much expectation and hype, is reportedly making his way back to the nation's capital in what's being described as a lightning-fast, whirlwind trade. Sources close to the team are saying the deal is officially closed, though the finer details are still under wraps. leaving fans speculating and analysts scrambling to figure out exactly what this means for the Commanders' defense and for the league as a whole. Imagine, if you will, the scene at FedEx Field when news broke. Fans glued to their phones, jerseys in hand, some screaming in excitement while others simply sat stunned, trying to process that one of the league's premier defensive talents could be returning home. Chase Young's journey in the NFL has been nothing short of a roller coaster. Drafted as a superstar prospect, expectations were sky-high from the very beginning. He dazzled in flashes, showing off a rare combination of speed, power, and instincts that made quarterbacks everywhere nervous. But it hasn't been smooth sailing. Injuries, the pressures of living up to an incredible rookie campaign, and the ever-present scrutiny that comes with being a high draft pick have all played a part in the narrative that has surrounded Young over the past few seasons. And yet, here we are, talking about a potential reunion that could shake the very foundation of Washington's roster. The rumors suggest that the Commanders didn't waste any time swooping in to reclaim a player who, for many, symbolizes the defensive identity the team has been trying to rebuild around. Now, what makes this trade even more shocking is the sheer speed at which it supposedly went down. There are whispers that this was a deal cooked up in a matter of hours, a trade blitz, if you will, catching even some of the most connected reporters off guard. While the official announcement might still be pending, insiders are already speculating about what Washington gave up to bring Young back. Draft picks? A young promising player? Cash considerations? The exact details remain shrouded in mystery, fueling a frenzy on Twitter, Instagram, and every sports forum imaginable. Fans are dissecting every angle, from salary cap implications to locker room chemistry, debating whether this move signals a win-now mentality or a strategic gamble for the seasons ahead. And let's be honest, when you talk about a player of Chase Young's caliber, the stakes are enormous. He's not just a great athlete. He's a game changer, someone who can disrupt the flow of opposing offenses, demand attention from offensive lines, and, most importantly, inspire a team that has been hungry for defensive dominance. Some analysts are already projecting that Young's return could completely alter the Commanders' defensive schemes. Imagine a front line anchored by Young, someone who commands double teams, pressures the quarterback relentlessly, and opens up opportunities for teammates to make plays. The ripple effects could be monumental. For Washington, it's not just about one player. It's about signaling to the league, to fans, and to the locker room that they are serious about contention. There's also the intangible factor of morale and culture. Players who leave a team and then return bring with them experience, a sense of unfinished business, and sometimes even a renewed hunger to prove themselves. That's a narrative that resonates with fans, and it's exactly the kind of storyline the Commanders' front office likely envisioned when making this audacious move. Of course, with big trades come big questions. How does Chase Young fit into the current roster? What about the existing defensive stars? Will this create tension or synergy? Early chatter from insiders suggests that the Commanders' coaching staff is already envisioning creative ways to maximize Young's impact, perhaps shifting schemes or adjusting personnel to accommodate his unique skill set. Meanwhile, opponents around the league are likely watching closely, recalculating their game plans, and wondering how a reinvigorated Washington defense might disrupt the balance of power in the NFC East and beyond. And here's where the drama truly heats up. This is more than just a trade, it's a statement. Teams rarely make moves of this magnitude without intention, and the speculation now centers on just how far Washington is willing to go to build a team capable of contending for a Super Bowl. Fan reactions have been a whirlwind, ranging from elation to cautious optimism. Social media has exploded with memes, highlight reels, and speculative graphics showing Young in the Commanders' uniform once more, terrorizing quarterbacks across the league. Longtime supporters are thrilled at the idea of recapturing the magic of his rookie season, while skeptics point to past injuries and inconsistent play as reasons to temper expectations. Yet even the most cautious voices admit that, if anyone can revitalize a defense in a single season, it's someone with Young's raw talent and physical gifts. The psychological impact alone, bringing back a former star, reminding everyone that Washington can attract top-tier talent, cannot be overstated. This trade, or rumor of a trade, has already created a sense of excitement that ripples far beyond X's and O's. It's about identity, ambition, and a rekindled sense of hope for a franchise eager to make its mark again. And the timing couldn't be more dramatic. In a league where momentum and perception matter as much as actual on-field performance, the buzz surrounding Young's return comes at a critical juncture. It's the kind of story that dominates sports shows, fuels debates, and drives headlines for weeks on end. Analysts are already dissecting game film, imagining how Young could exploit offensive lines, how his presence might alter opponent play calling, and whether this is the spark Washington needs to transform from a playoff hopeful into a legitimate contender. Rumors about supporting trades, locker room adjustments, and coaching strategies have started to swirl as well, creating a rich tapestry of speculation that keeps fans engaged, debating, and, most importantly, tuning in day after day to see how this story unfolds. In the end, the narrative of Chase Young returning to Washington isn't just about one player coming home. It's about potential, expectation, and the tantalizing possibility of something extraordinary happening in the nation's capital. It's about the drama of the NFL, the unpredictability of sports, and the way a single trade, or even the rumor of a trade, can ignite imaginations, spark conversations, and make fans feel like they're part of a story much bigger than any single game. For now, we wait, speculate, and imagine the impact of seeing Chase Young back in burgundy and gold, ready to disrupt offenses, inspire teammates, and perhaps, just perhaps, change the trajectory of the Commanders' season. The rumor mill is alive, the excitement is palpable, and if the whispers are true, Washington just might have reclaimed a key piece of its defensive soul. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.